and I'm also recording it on the computer. Okay. Okay, we have Manu Pathak in the room. Let's start, Sakshi. Let's start the session. I had few questions which we would like to also go, because right now we are live on the YouTube. Cannot anymore wait for people to start. Let's talk about who we are, and then I have given you a set of questions you can ask me, and we can start from there. Okay, Sakshi?
I like to start with the question, who is Lokesh Parashar?
Okay, I am in the e-commerce and international export-import business for last 30 plus years. I am a civil engineer. I ventured into international market once I did my diploma in 1992. And pretty much from that onwards, I've been a supplier to exporters. I did exports myself, then went to Canada. When I went bankrupt as an exporter, I literally started again from Canada. Then I came back to India in 2003, and ever since it's been 20 plus years now that I'm running a supply chain issue management firm called a buying house or buying agent. We have seen the industry grow from offline markets to e-commerce entities are growing more and more. Sandeep and Manu are new guests here. Sandeep, if I can stop my introduction, if you guys want to come on board and just introduce yourself, if you're comfortable listening to me, fair enough. So when we, in 2018 onwards, 2014 onwards, we had this vision of getting everybody together under one platform. It's like every industry has an association. The sourcing agents, the buying agents, sourcing consultants never had an association before. There were small groups of 5, 6 people, 2, 3 people as group, but then not like an organized society and an NGO or something like it recognized by the government. So from since 2014 to 18, we were still WhatsApp group friends, and we used to chit chat, and we used to often meet, but mostly one on one. It is 2016 when we actually began to see that, okay, let's bring together a federation, an association of sourcing consultants. And that is where now my focus ever since 2018 is to bring this platform to help our sourcing community, our sourcing consultants. So all the 30 years of experience as a buying house, a buying agent, sourcing consultants, now most of my business interest is getting into how we can help our sourcing consultants. How do we grow their business? How do we generate business opportunities for them? Or how do we manage the grievances? So this is all about me. I live in New Delhi. I have office in US. I am also into management consulting for exporters who would like to expand into different markets like UK or Canada. I help them set up their entities, set up their sales and distribution, or if they're only looking at e-commerce, I also help them set up their e-commerce business in the US, right from starting with the entity. I also have a business of cargo damage claims and payment recoveries. So if you have any cargo anywhere from anywhere in the world and you have that damage, pretty much you are not able to recover dues from carriers, our lawyers in 76 plus countries will be able to help you recover the amount, and we don't charge any legal fees before the recovery. There is a small $50 administrative fees, which is a documentation fees. That's it. But the legal fees, which might run into thousands of dollars, is not paid by you, while a lawyer is assigned to run your case, to fight your case and get it settled with the carriers. Or in the payment recovery business, we are basically getting money collected from the defaulting clients. That's pretty much all about me. So I have a consulting firm in US. I am running as a spokesperson the Federation of Buying Agents, the Federation of Business Ambassadors, which is the ambassador body from India, and I'm running a buying house in India. So before we move into second question, Sandeep and Manu, would you like to come on board and introduce yourself? Or would you like to ask any question?
Hi, Lokesh. Thanks for thanks for taking this call, and also it's just I'm trying to understand more about the international sourcing market. I am representing a few manufacturing clients back in India, and I'm trying to see if there are opportunities to grow within the international market for sourcing. So I'm just here to listen and
Where are you based?
based out of New Delhi, but also have representative office in the US.
Okay, so you're representing some factories and looking for market for these factories, right?
Yes.
So you are basically, I would say, a buying rep or a sales rep for a couple of factories.
Yes, exactly.
And what are the products?
They're majorly plastic-based products. So anything around toys, electronics, anything around beauty product packaging, or even food packaging. So anything that deals with or in or around plastic.
Okay.
And that could include, phones, chargers, charging parts, anything. And that's the specialty that I'm in.
So are they all like finished products ready to sell in the market, or they're components as well?
They're components, majorly components, but I'm also looking to see if there are companies that are looking for finished products, and we could talk about that as well.
So when it's components, so definitely they are primarily focusing on OEM and not
Exactly.
like a brand.
Majorly, I have OEM factories that are partners, but they are definitely open to talking about a finished product or particular parts, whatever that may be.
Hmm. So which is the major market you think is a suitable market for you, where components can be exported and then the assembly can happen there?
So there are two or three things, right? There are a lot of international sourcing companies, mostly big box retailers, that are probably looking for components or even smaller plastic products. They are based out of Europe or the US. But that's the kind of target audience, mostly big box retail stores, or smaller high distribution retail stores in essence.
So allow me to understand a little bit more in depth into the program. Why would a retailer will sell a component? Like, are the finished components ready to be put into a like a screws and bolts and fasteners or something like that? Or
Yes. Yes. So a good example is like a lot of big box retailers are looking at a single product that they're selling to the customer, but the customer in the end goes ahead and assembles all those products himself or herself, because they are easy screwed on products, and like
so like
giving
a
an
DIY
yes,
kit.
like a DIY kit, like a small lamp that anyone would order in the US, and you have to put it together, but the lamp's cover is a plastic cover. So that's the kind of um, market that OEM manufacturers have been part of. So they're looking to see what
Does that
other.
involve any kind of assembly before it is reaching to the customer, the end consumer, or
It could sometimes. So the assembly. So anything post molding process, it can be done as part of the manufacturing, industry. So they could do anything post molding. So molding, assembly, packaging, anything, any add-on services that can be provided after molding are definitely definitely done, and definitely open to talking about that.
Well, I'm trying to capture the target audience or target customers, and accordingly, I can refer you the right approach and as well as the
Right.
right market to capture. So, still, I'm not clear. And the last question I could not hear because I had to remove one person who was in waiting room. He is just a spamming thing.
Okay.
What was the answer did you give to my question that are we looking at end consumer to use your component, or you're looking for some assembly machine or assembly to be done in US and Europe before it reaches to the customer?
So no, so we can do all assembly as well as get to a finished product post molding. So any post molding process can be done in India as part of the factory. So if there is a product that has to be finished and sent out, that can also be done. if there's a product that does not have to be part of any assembly here, but is assembled later, can also be done. So anything post-molding, basically. Molding and post-molding.
I would advise to target e-commerce sellers for this.
Okay.
Instead of the big box retailers, especially with the recession and high inflation now.
Right.
Big box retailers are anyway reducing their purchases, reducing their store counts, and also majorly focusing on e-commerce. This segment, because I saw one of the e-commerce sellers who literally brings only components from India.
Okay.
And when I was with him in the US, we went to a couple of hardware stores and he picked up, I think, 25 samples, I think, of different plastic parts and metal components, which he said that, and that was really a good hack of his business.
Right.
That he just picked up plastic parts and he said, Lokesh, just get them turned to brass parts.
Right. That
Because
makes
plastic
sense.
parts are very cheap here and people tend to bring more value. And my storefront is all about stability and all about durability. And they come to me only when they want to replace the plastic parts with the very heavy, reliable, durable material. And brass is the best in terms of components and with the threads and everything. So this is how he's making money. And he's, I think, more than 2,000 SKUs on the e-commerce. So I'm just managing a couple of them, but mostly are coming from China and other countries. But this is the niche, I would say. So you would be looking at such a seller in the
Right.
e-commerce.
This
Who
is
would be the
probably
person?
my next, sorry, this is probably my next question as well, is what is the distribution for an e-commerce seller there? What is the number of units that an e-commerce seller would be able to target to sell? Because the business usually is because big box retailers are looking at high volume of products. And that's the that's what a usual OEM factory is also looking at. That's what they're playing in, high volume of products that are going out. But there is definite doubts on, is an e-commerce distribution big enough for a OEM factory to enter that business in? Probably
If you're
that's
looking, so that I can give you two alternatives for this. One would be still focusing on big box retailer. It's a tough challenge. It's a lot of marketing funds have to be there to get into the vendor system of a big box retailer, especially when in terms of compliances, in terms of product compliances, factory compliances, and all the other stuff. And a lot of aggressive marketing has to be required to get into the vendor base of those big box retailers. Definitely, that should be one of the target markets. However, there is a big segment of e-commerce sellers who are big, who are like 8-figure, 9-figure sellers.
wow. Okay.
And they are looking at a niche. They're looking at something where you can easily tell them to bundle a product, something coming from other countries or other factories, and something coming from you, and getting it assembled in some warehouse in US or Canada or Mexico, and then they hit the market. And they are pretty much, when they are 9 sellers, they are mostly on the marketplaces of all the around the world, and they have large volumes. So I would say if you're looking at big volumes, whether it's e-commerce or it's offline market, you need to have a really nice marketing budget for that.
Makes sense. No, okay, that makes sense. It'd be great to understand more about the e-commerce distribution that you're talking about. Something that I'm not very familiar with, but would be great to learn more.
Yeah, I would recommend to have a travel budget, especially when it's 2023 and 24. Now everything is opened up. The great pause is gone. If you are repping some companies and if you have a contract with them wherein they can cover your travel charges, I am not very keen and I'm not very optimistic on getting big box retailers or big e-commerce players right sitting in New Delhi and they will start working with you. It's not going to happen unless they invest either in you to travel to these countries and meet these people, or they invest in a big exhibition and trade fair where these buyers are coming and traveling. So it has to be a physical meeting. It has to be a physical interface. whether one-to-one with you selling and going on a selling trip, or they are exhibiting in a place where the buyers will be able to see them. It's not going to happen sitting in the factory or sitting in New Delhi office and sending emails.
That makes sense.
Okay, Sandeep, are you available for introduction? We have a long list of questions, so we will just keep on answering questions when somebody is not here to speak, and we don't want to have like deep breathing exercise in a B2B meeting. We'll continue to ask questions. So Sandeep, if you are here, if you would like to introduce yourself, you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, Sakshi, we can go ahead with the next question.
Actually, once Sakshi asked about that, who is Lokesh Parashar, I listened that and it was very interesting personality. And you just said about FBA. So I'm keen to know about what is FBA.
All right, so FBA is Federation of Business Ambassadors, DBA Federation of Buying Agents. We have registered our company as Federation of Buying Agents, but somehow in the last 5 years of our existence, we realized that we are primarily ambassadors of India in the business domain. When we meet customers, and when I say we, that means one of our members who is a buying agent, a buying consultant, a sourcing consultant, and our clients will hire us to make sure that if they are buying any product from India, they have someone like us, someone like any of our members as their entity, as their extended arms and ears, eyes and ears on the factory, on the product, making sure that any supply chain issue is not happening, which can eventually end in a loss. Hence, when we are pitching for business, we're primarily selling India. Because the first question anybody says, oh, you are a sourcing consultant from India, I'm buying from China, so why should I buy from India? Now that is a big question to answer. So in that way, I'm not, in fact, or me or any sourcing consultant is not selling themselves. They're not putting effort to trust them. It's basically changing the mindset of the customer to look at India instead of China or along with China. So that's a huge responsibility on us. When they sign up and they hire us as their consultants, literally the business will flow down to any Indian factory because they are the people who produce, like Manu Pathak. If we happen to have a customer who's looking at the profile of product which Manu sells, we would eventually go to Manu and his factory to along with buyer or without the buyer and say, okay, we would like to arrange and facilitate this buyer's requirement from your factory. So we are basically business ambassadors who are literally showcasing why India should be on your plate when you're looking at buying products. Now, this federation is consisting of around 560 count of registered members, where they are freelancers, buying agents, sourcing consultants, liaison offices, brand offices, and more of the idea of each and every individual as a member is to sell and upsell India. Because the moment we are not able to add value in their buying from India, they would move away to China or to Bangladesh or to Vietnam. So federation's focus is always on 3G principle. If you go on our website, Nisha, you can send the website details and all the social links here. The 3G principle is the growth of the buying house business, the generation of opportunities for buying house businesses, and any grievances which can occur when you are managing businesses of the buyers and you have exporters on the other hand. That is where the federation is placing a lot of their efforts in delivering the 3G principles to our members. Sandeep, are you still available? We only need, I have just removed one of the members from, I think, Pedro or something from, I don't know which country, and he was not responsive. So we only want responsive people. You might want to listen, but you have to have introduction here. We will not allow any muted audience to just listen to us and we don't even know who they are. So quickly come on board, introduce yourself. Even if you don't have a question, you just let us know who you are and how this meetup is basically adding value in your business. Else, we need to put you in waiting room until you speak.
So I'd like to ask one question.
Yeah.
How many meetups do we do?
Interesting question, Sakshi. So if you see our meetups, we have just launched meetups in 6 different US cities. We already had meetups in Delhi and Mumbai, and then we started the India as a PAN, export import entrepreneur group. Right now, we're hosting 2 meetups a week. One is on Wednesday, 7 p.m., where we are talking about e-commerce stories. And other is where we are on Saturday, where we are talking about hosted buyer program. And we have series of different subjects to cover in both these meetups. We will soon come up with a new event, which is a factory showcase. And that's why I think Manu should be interested. We have been doing this on Facebook before. There was a pause of more than 1 year, which is called Vendor Connect program, where the factory comes in, and once they sign up for this Vendor Connect program, we assign a team of social media people. There's a 6 weeks of social media marketing done on all our social media channels, which is followed by 30,000 plus buyers and buying agents, whether it's LinkedIn, it's Facebook, Instagram, Meetup. And it's a live webinar where the factory will showcase their business, and there will be a set of 25, probably 30 questions which a buyer should like to have answer from you as a factory. Idea behind Vendor Connect is that once a buyer looks at that video, they are looking at it from their perspective of why should I buy from this factory. And as a buying agent, that's our prime duty to do that. We have TY also coming in the meeting. Soon after I finish, I would like to have a TY's introduction. Yeah, so we will have 3 or probably 4 meetups a week, depending upon how much traffic is there, depending on how much people are coming in. Yeah, hold on. Okay, sorry about this call. Yes, TY, would you like to introduce yourself, please? TY, as I said to Sandeep, who's sitting in waiting room, if you will not speak, if you will not introduce yourself, we will put you back in the waiting room until you're ready to speak, to share the introduction. You might not want to speak further, but having your introduction, having to know you who you are is very important for us. It's a business meetup. I have already seen spamming from in other groups where I go. It's a Zoom, we call it Zoom bombing. So I want to make sure that we have genuine people in the room. If you are not able to speak, at least send us a chat. Otherwise, we'll have to remove you. I'm not able to unmute myself. Okay, that I can do for you. Well, there is some problem with your microphone, because even if I am asking you to unmute, it doesn't say anything. So you need to, if I remove you, you cannot come back. So you need to log off and then re-log in into the room. Maybe that will solve your problem. All right. Yeah.
So actually, I have a question that why we are on Meetup? We can be on another apps, on other platforms, but specifically why we have chosen Meetup?
It has been my experience. I am on Meetup for last 8 years, and there are a lot of services which are delivered by Meetup, which you will require maybe 3 or 4 different platforms. First of all, it cannot be pan whole world, a specific subject. Then once you are a Meetup Pro account holder, then you accumulation of email addresses, hosting different events, syncing your Facebook or live. This and the biggest advantage I saw in Meetup is that once you host an event, once you post an event, Meetup is a very strong platform to market your event and group to people around the world. For example, from May 11th, it's already 2 weeks, and all our 6 new cities, we already have subscribers of 120 people. So if we are adding on average 10 people from different cities in the US who are literally looking at e-commerce, export, import, and India as a connect, which is our prime focus, that anybody who looks at our meetup email, he should understand that it's something to do with export, import, and India. And we have launched these meetups in US. So it makes a perfect combination for us that even if out of 10,000 people in the next 1 year we are adding, even if we get 1%, it's a big number for us, like 100 people who are serious business owners, and that's what you require. That's why we are on Meetup. Hivai, are you able to now unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm audible.
Yes. Tamanna Yadav. Okay, I just forgot your name. Yeah, you should write your full name.
Yeah, because everyone knows me by TUI, so nobody
Okay,
knows
okay,
me by
okay.
my
The
name.
moment you said hello, I could recognize, yeah, this is Tamanna.
Yeah,
All right. So Tamanna, for the other people in the room, can you introduce yourself quickly?
yeah, of course. So, hello everyone. I'm Tamanna Yadav, and I'm doing my college. Along with that, I have my own export import business on which I'm working from the past 6 months. We export the blue pottery of Jaipur. If you have heard about it before, it has geographical indication of there. So, yeah, I think that's enough from my side.
All right. So I met Tamanna in the last meetup, and really happy that she's very enthusiastic. She's joined this meetup as meeting again. Tamanna, we have just launched our hosted buyer program. You should be sharing your email address so I can ask the office to send you the invite. It's exclusively for 20 exporters on the 17th of August. It's not happening, we're not opening to 120 or 80 exporters. It's only for 20 people and from different various segments. And it is also not for $999. It's only for 25,000, wherein we are giving you a VCP and a hosted buyer program, both the events together. Now you may ask what is VCP and what is hosted buyer program, which is called HBP. VCP is a vendor connect program that has been a property of the federation, where we invite one factory at one time on a live webinar. We used to host it on Facebook. Now we'll host it on YouTube. Once you sign up for 17th August event, you will get one VCP. That means for the next 6 weeks, there will be a social media marketing of your company across all our social media channels, including emails to all the buying agents and buyers who are signed up for our newsletters and federation emails.
Okay,
Apart
so
from
I
that,
should.
yes, apart from that, the important thing to know is that there will be a buying agent assigned to you for 6 weeks, and the team will make you prepare a presentation as per the factory, at how a buyer would like to see a factory to analyze and decide whether they want to work with you or not. On the day of the event, it is already posted on Meetup. It's already posted and social media marketing done. So on the before the webinar happens, there will be a mock webinar also arranged with the buying agent. You will be given 25 questions or 30 questions. I'm not sure what is the number, probably 25 or 30 questions, which will primarily showcase who you are. Once you send these answers, the buying agent will review them, and he or she will be able to help you tweak those things to make sure that what you're saying is accurate to the buyer's perspective. And that exactly will be replicated in the live webinar on YouTube, where you will showcase your presentation. It will be a 45 minutes of session, and rest 15 minutes will be for question answers. After your presentation, the moderator will be the buying agent, and she or he will be asking you those questions which you prepared for. Once it is done, it's stored in the YouTube of the federation forever, and also shared by email to all our followers who are literally across different cities and different countries who are following federation to look at new sources and new factories. So that VCP is given in that package. The VCP itself is 25,000 as a cost. However, what we're doing is that since it is the first of this year event, a physical event, we are also offering you a physical exhibition, because it involves a lot of cost to you as well. So we're not charging you any cost, but you will be the top 20 exporters shortlisted to showcase your business there. We'll give you 24 square meter space, which you're not paying for. It's already paid. And we will invite 10 established buying agents to meet you. It will be a whole day event. from 8:30 to 3 o'clock. I'm going to ask the office to share the email once you share the email address on the meetup. And I would highly recommend you to do that.
Sure, I'm sharing the address on chat box.
All right. So you have any other question today, or we can start with our questionnaire, which we are doing.
So, how do you conduct these meetings? Like, are you associated with some sort of government organization, or you do these meetup events on your own? Like, not these meetup events, like you're telling me about the wire hosted program, and also, are you associated with some government federation organization?
So the Federation of Business Ambassadors, DBA, Federation of Buying Agents, FBA, is a registered society under the Society Act of 1860. So we are a non-for-profit organization, and our main aim and strive to do is export the promote the exports from India, especially of the service export of our members who are service providers, who are buying agents and sourcing consultants. And once we are promoting our services members, literally that business has to go to some product exporters. So for example, if we bring in one buyer to India, I am not going to manufacture anything for them. I'm going to maybe Tamanna, or maybe go to Manu, or maybe any factory, which should be the requirement of the buyer, that I would like to buy from such factories, and you, like me, has to help them. So this is, it's not a government, I would say, incentive. All incentives are self-funded. Sorry about it. So we are not getting any government fund, and we in fact do not encourage in business to have any government funding. Otherwise you will never grow. It has to be your own money, it has to be your own capital, your own investment. And that is why that energy and that power of self-growth will basically give you a better opportunity and speed in the business, instead of looking for incentives. So we do not have any incentives from government for this. Yes, we do have economy of scale working, so that whatever cost we're charging to the people, and we are also inviting buyers and we are paying for their cost, it is going to be amortized. So it's just like what you do in college and school parties, we do a Dutch party. So everybody contributes and everybody is getting something.
Okay, so basically you're playing the role of that middleman who's connecting the exporter and the importer.
The federation is the platform, a facilitator for getting the businesses to the sourcing agents and sourcing consultants, and eventually to the exporters. The sourcing agents work for the buyers. They are not middlemen. They do not work for factories. They work for the customer. Of course, eventually the business goes to some factory, but it is not like they're getting paid by the factory and the buyer. They're only paid by the buyer to manage their supply chain issues.
Okay.
So it's an extended office. It's a liaison office. It's a sourcing office, or I would say eyes and ears for the customer. We are focused on customers' interest, not on the interest of the factory.
Okay. So let's suppose I get an order with the help of your federation, and will you charge anything after getting the order? Like I came close to know about some agents recently who give you the buyers, but they will charge a particular amount of money for that, like on commission basis for how much export you are doing.
So that is called commission agents. And I would discourage going to commission agents, because they're not adding any value other than bringing you a buyer. If it is a very small amount, somebody is saying, okay, pay me 20,000, or not even 20,000, I would say 10,000, something, whatever. But if somebody says, okay, I need a percentage from your business, pay me 1%, pay me 2%, and I'll bring you a buyer. Sorry, they are not the right people to work with, because any sourcing consultant or any buying house will not ask you to pay them. There would be a situation where they have an agreement with the buyer that you will bill your services in the final product. For example, if Tamanna says my product blue pottery is $1, and sourcing agent says my service fees to the buyer is 5%. So the price to the buyer is going to be 105 rupees or $1.05. but you will still get $1. It's not like that you will get $95.
Got it.
So I would say refrain from any such person who claims that, okay, I can get you buyers and you need to pay me some commission. That's a commission agent, and that you can only pay when you have the buyer in your hand, when you have actually shipped the goods and you got the payments. So remember last meeting we had discussed how to verify and validate the buyers. You need to still do that homework. Please do not be in any belief, a wrong belief, that since he is coming with a buying agent, he is a genuine buyer. He is not coming with a buying agent, he is coming with a commission agent. And even if somebody is coming with a buying agent, the authenticity of the buyer is not the responsibility of the buying agent. So we have, as I said, there are a lot of grievances which come to Federation as one of our services. We have such grievances coming to us where the buying agent was genuine and the customer did not pay the factory. So in the factory is after the buying agent now that you are responsible to bring this customer. I want the money from you. No, legally you cannot ask a buying agent to pay what you have shipped to an importer or to a buyer. You have a direct contract with the buyer and they are supposed to pay you. A buying agent is only working for the buyer to manage their supply chain issues, quality, logistics, and production issues. They are not responsible for non-payment or payment to you. Hope this makes sense.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
So is everybody is done with the intro? Or I was the only one who was left?
I think you are the only one. Manu has already given the introduction. This video is also going on live on the Facebook, on YouTube, and it's also being recorded. So recorded version will be also edited by my office and later posted on the Federation's channel. So let's continue with the questions. Nisha and Sakshi.
Yes, I have a question that what do you get in the meetings, as we are giving time here in the meeting? So what do you get in meetings?
Interesting. Before I can say something, I would request Tamanna to say something about, because this is her second meeting. Tamanna, what do you get when you come to these meetings?
I think a lot of my questions get solved, and if I have any queries, sir, address this query, and I can get the clear vision ahead. So
Yes.
yeah, I think I'll get something informative if I'm attending this meeting. Definitely, it's gonna happen.
Manu, any thoughts from your side since this is your first meeting?
Yes, no, thank you. My main goal was to just come in and listen and understand and know more about you, Lokesh, to be honest. So this is a good platform for me to just sit in as quietly as I can and understand and listen. But it also, I think, opens you up for a lot of different consulting projects and a lot of different other work that might come in, like work for the platform that might come into this meeting. So definitely, a lot of material discussed here is useful for all buyers and manufacturers and suppliers. So that's why I'm here to listen and understand.
Thank you for helping me. So Nisha, you got your answers. That's exactly what we intend to do at these meetups. One is for e-commerce. So we are definitely going to share some stories, some success stories, which Tamanna and Manu should benefit, as well as the sourcing community, which might be listening live or might later on view this on the channel. Our main purpose of having these meetings is to share our knowledge, share our experiences, so that you can grow your business much better than what we could do. I still remember when I started my business, there was always a mentor with me. And when I got bankrupt, twice, and one I had to literally sold off everything and get away from the partnership, where I did not had a mentor. So that is a big step in our life, that what we have gained so far in 30 years. And there are a couple of people in my community, in our governing body, who are even 35 plus years of experience. Like you must have seen Sakshi and Nisha, Ms. Bhavna. Ms. Bhavna, the joint secretary who manages legal desk, she has 37 years plus of experience now. I have been knowing her for the last 3 or 4 years, and she had already had 35 plus years at that time. Having such people manage the desk and looking at all the supply chain issues is a huge benefit. And if anyone can benefit from our inputs, our feedbacks, I do travel a lot right now. I will also share that e-commerce success story or a hack, I would say, which I already shared with Manu right now. It's always wise to understand and listen to people and their experiences. You might not want to implement them, but at least explore. And that's why a lot of books and a lot of your coaches will tell, keep an open mind, always be positive. This is because you should be listening to what is coming to you. You might want to defer, you might want to infer. It all depends upon your perspective and your experience, your budget, your impressions. And these meetups are permanently doing it. Right now, we are just starting it, so you might only see me, but then in the coming weeks, we are also bringing a lot of other buying agents, a lot of other exporters or e-commerce experts who will be delivering their experiences on different subjects. And I would say if you keep on coming here, you would definitely have a lot of value addition done to your business. All right. Anything else? Nisha, you have any other questions?
No, sir, it's all right. But I think maybe there's a question written about the sponsors, maybe.
Yes. So we are now heading towards a stage. We already have 7,000 members in 9 different meetups. And we have, I just checked, the RSVPs were around 8,200 something. And when you say RSVP, that means somebody went on the page and they did say, I'm coming or join. That means they have seen that page where the sponsors are having their names and their logos. So if you are a sponsor, you should be looking at us. Maybe not now. I would say yes to now also, but even if you don't want to do it now, but in the next 1 month or 2 months, that number will grow to around 15,000, 20,000 RSVPs. And that is where you should be looking at, okay, where do I put my money? Especially when you are a service provider, which is catering to the entire ecosystem, that, for example, a freight forwarder or a payment, a factoring company, a payment gateway company, a bank, any service providing company which facilitates the business between the exporter and importer and a buying agent should look at this option of how do I get in this room where a lot of interaction is happening, and all of them are my target market. Packaging companies, one of the most important aspect of the business, which everyone would be happy to refer business to them. So if you are from all these industries, we are open to having sponsorship from you. It's right now it's very economical because we are still new, but after a year you can see how the growth will happen, and at that time you will literally have words in your mouth that I should have done it. So maybe you start right now with a small amount, and as a sponsor, if you see value, then you will continue for the next year.
Okay, I had a quick question for you.
Yes, Manu.
Can you tell me more about your background and who you are? Usually relate with people just by understanding who they are and who they are,
Right.
and where you came from and everything.
Sure. I also already have on the meetup itself, you will see a video. Nisha, you can share this from the YouTube channel, who's Lokesh Parashar. And I did share that in the beginning of the today's first question was, who is Lokesh Parashar? But I will still repeat for you. I'm in this
Yes.
industry for last 30 plus years. I graduated as a civil engineer in 1993 and 1992. And then ever since, I have been in the international market. The civil engineering construction business never appealed to me, and I did my export diploma in international market in 1993, 1994. And since then, I have been a supplier to exporters. I had an export company selling to as big client as Walmart Canada and Walmart US. And then I went to Canada and literally was doing what you are doing now. I was repping few Indian companies in textiles to the big box players in Canada and US. I came back to India in 2003. With my wife had some medical issues, so we came back. We literally had to cancel our immigration as well, and that is where I started my services business of buying house ever since. So it's been 20 years into service industry, and along with buying house, I started a payment recovery and cargo damage business from 2020 onwards. 2013, I opened my US office for literally for only payment issues. But from 2018, I was introduced to two big good consultants of American consultants who were helping Chinese factories to set up their office in the US. So we got together and now we have clients in the US from India who are big factories. And we established the sales and distribution for these companies in the US as the US brand. So it's a US entity, US brand, US warehousing, US business, US accounting, everything is US. It's only the factory is the owner of the US company. And to sell in US to the big box or to even retailers and mom and pop stores, you need to have a sales and distribution across 50 states. So we're talking about 150 or 200 sales reps on the road selling your brand. And that's what we do in the US management consulting firm. That's my big chunk of the business coming from. I'm also an e-commerce consultant from India. I help companies take their e-commerce business to US or other markets as a local entity in that country. Because once you're doing from India, you will do pretty much Amazon global, but that will not make you successful. That will not make you rich. The only way to make money in the e-commerce in some country is to have your own local entity there so that you can manage it better. The federation side is something which me and my friend Ajay Abrol from UA Consultant, we are still free competitors in business, but we have a common mindset that we should gather together, we should be better together. And that's how the idea of federation came into existence. We started with a WhatsApp group in 2014. It still survives, it's still there. And in 2016, we started to have this momentum and thought of having a society. And in 2018, it eventually took place, and we registered the Federation of Buying Agents as the society under the Registration Act of 1860 with the Government of India. In the last 5 years, we have done a lot for our community. I can vouch for that. There are enough evidences in the industry. You can ask any export council who the FBA is or Federation of Buying Agents is, or even maybe you can just ask them who is Lokesh Parashar. And 10, I would think 6 out of 10 would be able to tell you, oh yeah, I know this guy. So this is our major contribution to the export community and to the service exporter community of our federation members who are sourcing agents and buying agents. Hope this answers your question.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lokesh. Outside of YouTube, I'd love to talk to you and see where it goes.
Sure. All right, Nisha, you have already shared everything, where to find us. I think you've done all the chat thing. It's already going on YouTube Live, so people can also go there. We have a Telegram group. We also have a Facebook group. We also have a LinkedIn group. LinkedIn group is primarily only for sourcing agents. So if you are a sourcing agent, a liaison office, or pretty much a freelancer offering services to overseas customers, only you are allowed to be in that group. We do not have a group where we have exporters and buying agents. Primarily, you can follow the page of the federation to get all the updates. But yes, the Telegram group is for all. It's for buyers, for sellers, for service providers, for any business entity who would like to do anything in this export-import domain. They all are the part of Telegram group. We also have WhatsApp groups of our members. We also have WhatsApp group of hard goods members or merchandisers and owners of the hard goods and apparel or soft goods, I would say, owners as well as merchandisers. And then we have a Federation of Buying Agents as the owner WhatsApp group. That's also private to only owners of the members of the federation. All right. If we do not have anything else, we can just wrap it up now.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Tamanna. Thank you, Manu, for coming today. It's been a pleasure meeting you guys. We'll stay connected.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Sakshi. Thanks, Nisha.